Hello everybody and welcome to Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary. Please like, share and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and I do appreciate it. Your support is really welcome. I do read all your comments and I really do appreciate all your comments. It's wonderful. What a beautiful community we have. So thank you to the family, as Richard would say. Blessings to everyone. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. So today we're going to look at something space orientated again, and we're going to look at satellites today. And I put a little presentation together just to get the old grey matter going a bit on what satellites might or might not be. So with no babbling at all, let's get on with it. Okay, so hopefully you can all see a picture from NASA, and I've made sure that on the screen that I've shot that this is a NASA official photo of a satellite, obviously very close to the moon. I believe this is the moon, this grey thing in the corner, and we have the Earth way out into the distance. All very interesting. Apparently recently there was I say recently, this could be, I have no idea because I don't follow it, but recently-ish, 2017, I don't know, around that period, who knows, there was a satellite that was damaged, and here we have some damaged satellite, a picture of it. We have the Earth and a nice bit of solid ground and liquid, very interesting, and we have that little thermosphere area, and then we have space. I guess these are all stars at the back. Very interesting. And Abraham crashed to Earth. Interesting name. So this is a picture of it undamaged, I guess, before it crashed to Earth. And again we have all these stars. I can't really make out any of the stars or the patterns or what's going on here. But yeah, here we have the Earth again, cloud and the thermosphere and space and a satellite. So these are all official NASA images. Very nice too. So what NASA are saying clearly is that their satellites are in space above the Earth, zooming round Earth probably up to 14 times a day, going between the sun and the cold, sun and the cold, sun and the cold. So very high-tech bits of kit. Fascinating. But you know me, I've got a different take on it. This is the Hubble telescope. There's the Hubble telescope. Oh, Sophia. Very interesting name. And we've got the NASA logo, look. And this is a satellite. This is really what a satellite looks like. We have a hot air balloon, length of rope, and solar panels, and a satellite below it. This is the NASA picture of a satellite, and this is reality. Very interesting. So the space station has just been used here for reference, but we have the balloons. There's a parachute for when it comes down, it detaches, and it will fall to the ground. And we have the stratospheric winds, and these are high altitude balloons that circle around the Earth. Now, it's my understanding that this is an old slide, by the way, but it's my understanding that these balloons can stay up to, certainly up in the higher stratosphere, for 18 months at a time. So this just gives you an idea of roughly what we're looking at. I think we all know this gentleman from the films. But this is the balloon. This is the satellite hanging off the end of a crane, and this is the connector. This is the parachute we saw that goes through to the balloon, and this is a launching device for a satellite. I'm sure you've all seen the lovely SpaceX stuff going up, and all NASA firing these rockets up into space. But actually, as I showed before, rockets don't ever go to space. They do an arc and they fall into the Bermuda Triangle generally when they're fired from Florida. And so this is what we see. This is a satellite. So let's have a look at some more, shall we? Been launched. Now, as we can see, we have the crane. The satellite is hanging here. We have the rope going up. Excuse me. So here's the satellite on the crane, the rope, the parachute, and as you can see, the design's changed from that older slide that I showed you, but it gave you an idea. And then we have the rope. Cord goes all the way up to this balloon, and so these can stay up in the sky for 18 months. And here we go, it's been let go, and the balloon is not filled fully because the pressure will make this fill up fully, and so if it's overinflated at this time it will burst. And here we have the parachute, and here we have the satellite. I had a very good slide of the Starlink, or slides of the Starlink satellites being released on their balloons, and obviously I can't find it, but this is, I believe, Starlink as well. And what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 balloons in a line, all ready to be launched, and each one will have a satellite. There's the satellite, there's the Starlink satellite on these specially designed cranes. We can see the people in the background, we can see the size of these things. We have the rope going down to the parachute area, and they've laid the cable across the floor, protecting it with sheeting, and there we have the balloon, which is being held down by rope. And we have a truck in the background which is probably putting in helium or some gas, pumping up what's going on. Very interesting, hey? That's not what NASA shows us, is it? And of course, when the parachutes don't work correctly, they fall to the ground. So here we have the balloon still attached, and the satellite that's crash landed, and all the panels all bent, and it's rather destroyed. This is another picture of a satellite, and I included this one because it's actually got the attachment harness into the top of the satellite that you can see that goes along. And this is obviously a different day because of the weather, but you can see the balloon and some wreckage here. You may say that's not very good, not very obvious, but you'll get to see another very good image. And here we have another crashed satellite, and here we have the balloon at the back, and the satellite sat here, crashed down into some jungly type area. There's quite a few photographs if you want to hunt them out and to look at this kind of thing. I mean, we have all this bare wiring and stuff. I mean, if that's in space, I'd hate to think how that would cope with minus 200 and plus 200 degrees. Let alone a balloon. And this image is a very, very good one, where we can see this is the satellite with the solar panels, and it's clearly come down and hit the ground very hard, and it's been smashed to bits. I should have really included it, but the tall towers we see around us, which we think are GPS, as in global positioning for our sat navs, it's actually ground positioning. And they don't work if you're away from a mast. It triangulates your location, and that's how they work. And an interesting side note to this one: if satellites were really a thing, as in the globe modelled NASA reality, then all aircraft that fly over the sea would be able to be tracked via GPS or satellite. But we don't get that. And we have many instances of proof that we don't get that, because we have that Malaysian flight that just disappeared and was never found when it crashed or was flown elsewhere. There have been many aircraft that have crashed in recent years at sea or out in the oceans where there's no GPS, because the satellites don't work in that way, that have never been found, or took them months and months and months to find. Interesting, isn't it? So this is a picture of 1966, the amount of satellites. I did a previous one on the moon landing, if you can remember, and this would have been the number of satellites orbiting the Earth in 1966. This is 2007, and we can see that you can't really make out the Earth very easily. So an awful lot of satellites buzzing around just outside Earth's atmosphere. This is 2016, and you can see huge amount of satellites, huge haze. I mean, you can see the thickness of that compared to this, to this, to this. So without doubt, since 1966, moon landings period, space period, when we were out there in space, handful of satellites, to now, it's immeasurable. Thousands, tens of thousands in fact. This is an official NASA photograph of a satellite in space. You can see space, a couple of stars, the Earth, clouds, thermosphere, ionosphere. So where are the other satellites? We have one. And yet the previous slides clearly showed the amount of satellites were up in space. I can't see any anywhere. Not one. Or is this a satellite? Is that a satellite? Is that a satellite? Are these tiny little dot satellites? I'm not sure. But I certainly can't see another satellite anywhere close that you could say is a satellite. Interesting. So this is an official photograph from NASA. It's so unbelievable, I thought I'd include the writing that goes over the top. 2015 moon crosses the Earth, which is Discovery. It's 1 million miles away from Earth, 1 million miles away. It does all these amazing scientific things. Oops, too quick on the old click. So it does all these amazing things. It's and it maintains a constant view of the fully illuminated Earth as it rotates. Okay. Image credit NASA. This is it without the writing. So this thing here, this blob here, is the moon. This is the Earth. I'm not sure. It could be America. Could be the Gulf of California there. Remember when we were looking at California, how it joined up and there's a little gulf there? I don't know. Could well be. We're clearly missing South America. In fact, we're missing quite a bit from this photograph. So, doesn't seem to have any correlation to any kind of land mass that I can see. And we have the dark side of the moon. It's never been seen before. Very interesting. So my question would be, how can we get a crystal clear view from 1 million miles out through all those satellites? Where are all the satellites? Why is it pristine? Why is there nothing over here? What's going on? There's no space junk, there's no satellites, there's nothing to be seen. No fuzziness, nothing. And you'll say, yeah, but the photograph was taken from 1 million miles away, Gary. Yeah, okay. So when you look up at the moon at night time or daytime, whatever time you wish to look up at the moon, how come you can see the moon pristinely? How come you can actually put your telescope or camera or binoculars onto the moon and see it in crystal clear vision with no satellites going past it, when there's tens of thousands up there? For those interested, you may wish to Google Blue Marble Man. That's Blue Marble Man. Very interesting. So, I believe this is space station, or this is a satellite in space. This is the space line taking a photograph, and this is Florida. That curvature, unbelievable. And so this has now been taken at 238,900 miles. I'll get my teeth in a minute. Taken from 238,900 miles away. Now the moon is that distance away. And I recognise a few bits here. This is California. This is the Gulf of California. This is Florida. This is the Gulf of America now. It used to be the Gulf of Mexico. This is Canada up here. Where's South America gone? And this is an official NASA photograph, by the way. So this is the entirety of the world, the full spectrum view, because it's been taken that far away, 239,000 miles away fundamentally, give or take 100 miles. Look how big America is. How would Africa, the continents, the North Pole, perhaps that's the North Pole. I think we might have the North Pole there. That's it. Where's the South Pole gone? Can't see it. Oh, we've got a land mass there. Do you think that's Australia? Do you think they plonked a land mass there for the fun of it? Because there should definitely be a land mass here. But also there's no satellites. We can see the satellite here at this level of height. Thousands of them, tens of thousands of them, but we get a perfect, pure picture of part of the globe. So this is the space station, but we'll take this as being the satellite's range as well. So the space station sees 15 sunrises and 15 sunsets. From memory I thought it was 14, but there we go. So as an average every 45 minutes it goes from light to dark, light to dark, light to dark, light to dark. So we go from 248 Fahrenheit to minus 338 Fahrenheit every 45 minutes. That's 120 degrees Celsius to minus 170 degrees Celsius. Every 45 minutes. Inside an aluminium tin can with solar panels and everything else that goes with it. How does a satellite survive that kind of stress with all the space junk that's floating around with it? Chaos theory. All you need is one satellite to hit another satellite to hit another satellite, and it would be chaos. And there'd be thousands of satellites smashing into each other, dropping out the skies, raining solar panels and lumps of metal like you've never believed. And you know what? That's never ever happened. Interesting. So you might want to do a bit of research. Operation High Jump and Operation Fishbowl. Might even want to look up Admiral Byrd for this one. And this one, we have some very interesting, because this is when they fired nuclear missiles. at the firmament. Why would I have like a mushroom cloud coming out from this rocket? You might find those very, very interesting to research. Certainly Admiral Byrd, the Longines Chronicle, as in Longines, as in, I think they used to be closed, but they're certainly a watchmaker. Longines Chronicle. It's interesting that after he appeared on that show, he was unlived very quickly. So, and here we are, back again. So, do satellites exist in space? No. I don't believe so. Do rockets take satellites into space? No, I don't believe so. We looked at the moon landing, and we looked at how the temperatures on the moon and the vacuum of space meant that the rocket never could have landed or taken off, and they certainly couldn't have filmed the moon landing with film camera, and while that film camera was still up in space, had multiple pictures from that film as front page headlines, and we certainly couldn't have seen that film live on television like everybody did. And so if they can be deceptive over that, then why would they not be deceptive over anything else? Satellites are not used for communication for the masses, and satellites are used for spying on us and the various reasons, and they are hot air balloons. If you've ever seen Elon Musk's SpaceX balloons, or whatever they're called, Starlink, that's the one. If you've ever seen Starlink go over, you'll see a great big line of lights, dots going across the sky. 30, 40, 50 of them, I don't know, 20, 30 of them. I have seen it a few times. And they are tethered balloons to each other. And you need that many to be able to create a cell phone signal that's reliable enough to bounce back again. Satellites are also used in military purposes to direct modern military weapons to pinpoint locations. So whenever we see in the news that somebody was destroyed by a missile in the Middle East, or in the country called U&R, in their conflict, those missiles can only be fired and be accurate when there is a satellite guiding it, but they're not in space because we've never been to space. I have done a series on flat, round or neither, and please, it's a 3-parter. Please watch that, it's very interesting. I'll give you some ideas, and it will certainly point you to where I believe we are. So I hope you found that interesting, and thank you very much for watching. If you got all the way to the end, congratulations. You get a bonus prize of being able to watch me again tomorrow. And with that, I shall say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Love, light and blessings, everybody. Bye bye.